Hi, I'm Suzanne McNeill with Design Originals, and I'm a big fan of Zentangle. You might even call me an addict. So I wanted to show you what I did to enter a well, it wasn't a Zentangle contest. It was a Don't Mess with Texas contest for a litter bag design. So Don't Mess with Texas has its own logo. Well, I gathered everything that I thought was related. I wanted to know the exact size or shape of Texas, my logo. I tried several different alternatives. One of them was I took all my old leftover chipboard letters that I haven't used, and I was able to spell out Texas. So all I did was simply trace around these chipboard letters with my 01 black micron pen by Sakura. So just simple tracing around those chipboard letters. Since they have that raised edge, it's really quite simple to trace around them. So then I'm going to take my pen and actually when I do lettering, I like to sort of roll, if you want to call it that, one pattern through all three letters. And that sort of gives it a continuity to the lettering once you're finished. So I'm just going to work on the T here. I decided to put a bar on each side. Every time I do lettering, it's a little bit different, but I do really like this chipboard look to the lettering. Get some great shapes. There are lots of variety of designs to the chipboard letters that are available. So if you have a little collection, it's a wonderful resource. You can also use stencils, but there are lots more available fonts or designs for the letters in chipboard than there actually are in stencils. So now I'm drawing a checkerboard, so I'm just simply coloring or drawing one corner with a curved line. That gives it a little bit of punch rather than the plain checkerboard. And now if I want to, I can go and divide this side into two smaller pieces. So it's really fun to design Zentangles. And as I do that, I'm going to show you in a minute what I did with barbed wire to start relating to tangles. Since I live in Texas, of course I had to use barbed wire. That was just so inspirational. Now I'm just doing little printemps curls. Gosh, I just love creating tangles and drawing tangles and changing them up a bit so that they have a totally new look. The best thing about Zentangle is, you know, there really are no major mistakes in Zentangle. They're sort of like life. If you make a small mistake, you simply turn that into a new tangle. You have to use your creativity to do that, and sometimes you come up with something even better. Sort of like moving to a new town. You just kind of scary and exciting at the same time. And so there's my T. And then I would take a darker pen and color in some of those tangles. But I think you get the idea. I really wanted to show you the chipboard tip. And then the next thing I started playing with was barbed wire designs. I was able on the internet to look up, and there's actually a barbed wire museum that gives the history of all the barbed wire designs. It just had a nickname. It was called Devil's Rope, because of course the purpose is to stop the cows when they get to the wire, and that's what those little barbs do. They say don't go any further, it might hurt. There were actually over 570 barbed wire patents, and there are over 2,000 varieties. So I'm just going to take this one and start playing with this one first. So if I look at this barbed wire design, I can look here, and I'm going to start right in the middle. So I drew an oval, and I drew another oval. So I have the three ovals in the center, and then I have one of the barbs coming out, Another barb came out here. When I did the border for my poster or bag design, I was able to do the border in these barbed wire designs. I'll show you all the variety I came up with a little bit later before we're finished. And then I was able to take this and draw the wire that connected them. And then I took you can take your little bit larger pen. I like to use an 08 or even a graphic 1 to fill in the dark areas. Really gave that some punch. And the way I drew this, you can see this barb was underneath here, but since I'm coloring the wire black, it's going to color up the way I drew that and make a perfect barb every time. So there was the basic design. And then well, you know, I always have to take things and experiment. So I took this same barb. This was actually patented or designed by Glidden. And there's another version. I told you there were 2,000 versions, so it can go quite a way. And another version, actually, one barb comes down here, and the other one, instead of going up, goes down like this. So, you know, I'm always wanting to experiment, and I was able to take that design. I turned these into ovals instead of points. I did 2 more small ovals here. And then I was able to take this and actually, I stepped over, did 2 ovals again, a long oval, another long oval. Here I'm coloring this in to make it symmetrical. I'm going to add these here and add these here. So I started with this, but I was able to turn it into something else and be totally inspired. So here are a couple of my other samples. You can see I tried this even with the points. Here's a line. Here I colored, this is similar to this, where I colored these in. And here's another one. I drew it exactly the same, but I colored it differently. And then I love all kinds of barbed wire designs, so I really had a hard time stopping doing that. So let me show you my poster now. It's in process. It's not finished yet. So I took my own hand and drew around my hand. I showed you the map of Texas, and Texas is a Lone Star state. So I drew a star here. And then I was able to take that, and I tested it like this first. I tried the name Texas up here, but I thought it was a little bit hard to read, but you can see I've already worked on my barbed wire. Here's that Glidden design. Here's a design that's like a star. It's kind of like a, I don't know, spider or octopus. A variation, another variation of Glidden where there are 2 barbs. Here's another one, more stars. So it was so much fun to use the tradition of Texas with the barbed wires. So I decided I didn't particularly like the Texas up here. So I just drew my border design around here, and then I took it up to the copy shop and had it copied a couple times, because I wanted to audition putting a little bit of color with it. So this is just a rough draft of one color variation. Here's another color variation I tried. Here I've added the logo to these. This one I tried with the traditional Texas colors and blue in the background. But I decided on just the plain red. I thought it was a little bit stronger and really showed up Texas. So when I use my paintbrush, the big secret to keeping your paintbrushes sturdy and clean is to first dip it in water and wash it off. And what that does is fill right in here with water, so your paintbrush doesn't start filling in and the bristles start splaying out. So I have some paintbrushes I've had for many years, and they still, I use them all the time. They still work perfectly. It's all about taking care of them in the correct manner. So for this, I'm just using a regular, just an inexpensive craft paint. They really are versatile. And just a nice flat brush. very simple to paint this in. Just color this whole area in red. It was so much fun designing this Don't Mess with Texas design. I received an email on my blog that I might want to enter it. Someone really likes Zentangle and likes my artwork, so that's always exciting when someone sends you an invitation. Little tiny bit of red down there. I'll just paint that in. You know, the Zentangle can look busy if you get too much going on with it. But this just really gave it the correct spark. I like designs where from a distance you see something bold like the red Texas, and then the closer you get to it, you see lots more details like the Zentangle look. So that's what I'm always trying to think about in my designs. I'm almost through with the red. Of course, red is my favorite color also. I used to say I was kind of playing with some friends one time, but my personality is blue with red spots. Like I'm really pretty calm most of the time, but then I get excited about things and do all these fun things, kind of like red, and then I always wash my brush out immediately. So this was my litter bag design for the Don't Mess with Texas. All I had to do was add a small logo up here and it fit perfectly. Hope you enjoyed seeing the design process with Zentangle.